I wanted to be just like you know. Then I realized, even you don't know yourself.
Sweetie.
Wait, wait.
Right? Rolling.
Rolling.
Clap.
I was watching a lot of YouTube that I watched back when I was in primary school. I realized that all these creators that I was watching, had since become irrelevant. They still work so hard to this day, some of them, and yet the only recognition is like stuff that they've done in the past. I believe there's some creators who've been able to pull it off flawlessly. They profited back when they were relevant, and now they don't need to do anything, but there are some who probably wish they were back in the limelight, and this is an example of that, the Stallion House. So the Stallion House is about Maud, a washed-up influencer, and she wants to stay in her content house. I chose to put it in a content house because I thought it was quite an interesting concept, seeing as I've never seen a Singaporean content house. I thought it was quite fresh and it would have been a bit funny. The story has a lot of themes, the most prominent one being, I guess, how bad social media is for you. Another thing was I wanted to talk about parasocialism. Last time parasocialism would like revolve around maybe you and like an idol. Why are you investing so much time and energy into someone who doesn't even know who you are? It can be helpful, it can be beneficial, but at the end of the day, like it can also be problematic too. This is my first time directing. I was scared people weren't going to take the story seriously, or they would take it too seriously. The film's a satire. It was a struggle at first to connect, not just with my crew, but like also with myself. Me and some of my crewmates are not really similar, and it's difficult for me to convey my vision. As a result, that it's not anyone's fault. It's just different people. So that was one of the struggles I had.
I thought it would be fun to do, but when I also realized that it was my job to look for the location, I also got kind of worried. So we had to scramble online to look for places like chalets, look for bungalows that were for rent, anything, and we came up very short because these kind of locations don't really allow for that kind of filming, they don't allow for that kind of contract. We managed to lock down a location from the chevrons, but the problem with that was that our booking dates coincided with our deadlines, and so we had to completely scrap that location. We got lucky that some of our friends or friends of friends and like who were well off and were generous enough to offer their homes to us. We managed to find two of our main locations, two separate landed properties. It taught me a lot about resourcefulness. Without those connections, I would not have been able to find a location.
I knew that we were self-funded, and I had to find a solution to alleviate the burden of the costs on our shoulders. So as such, I went on a headhunt for brands, companies, just keep doing it every single day until something pops up. There are 4 sponsors in total. One of them is Canon, which is from the school. Another one is Three-Legged Brand, and the third one is NBCB, Nothing But Cheeseburgers. And then 4th one is Novo Acai. So this covered most of our welfare.
I was thinking of ways to shoot it in a way that when we are going through different scenes or different parts of the scene itself, and how do we make it look different, and how do we light it or shoot it, or how can we see that there's a noticeable difference. I have talked with my editor and like come up with certain ways of shooting so that we have a different kind of transition in a way, so that we can make the film look much more TikTok or like YouTube. I wanted to show in a unique way of how can this way of shooting can be very unique and not something mundane, and that all of us can have, oh wow, like maybe this is not something that we see often.
It's been a while since I touched like visual effects. For Jovan, me and the editor, we have like burned the midnight oil to try to figure out how to mask out the foreground, the background, and the midground.
For me, is knowing the vision of the director, because each and individual we have our each different vision. How we overcome it is asking Eden to show us like visual reference of what she visualized.
I had to find Eden and discuss with her about like a lot of things, so make sure that all our visions are aligned.
For Maud's room, yeah, I thought it would be minimalistic also, but it's actually a more live-in kind of feel, so there's more things.
On my end, I think what I had to do was a lot of research. Like I found what I thought was suitable for the film, like in terms of music and like sound effects. And then after that, then I show all the samples to Eden, and then we discussed whether it was on the right track of what she envisioned.
And Eden told me to do like those Twitch comments and stuff. I have to think of more ideas and stuff, but the thing is, I think so many good, so many interesting ideas, right? But the thing is like, I can do or not. Try be more resourceful and experiment more with After Effects and Premiere Pro. In the end, be able to pull it off, those transitions like, you know, the phone like, yeah, then zoom into the phone, or like from the phone zoom out, that kind of thing.
In the days leading up to production, one of the things that I was worried about was definitely weather.
The synergy between the group members was a bit off. I was very worried that there will be much more there will be conflict during our production.
One of my concerns that I can remember was like not being able to have enough manpower, and also I'm a bit worried that our equipment will not come like on time.
Before our shoot started, we actually everyone came down together and like really talked down everything, so we know what is going to happen at certain scene, so that everyone is sure what is going to happen, so that on the day itself we actually tried not to have any hiccup during our productions.
We had a severe lack of time to prepare, like whether it be working with the actors to like guide them, and setting up.
So the first struggle I encountered was the rain. So that meant that enacting my plan B immediately the minute that I came onto set, that meant that I had to spend the entire day completely acting on my feet.
The actual struggles that I faced were making sure that the morale of the team was as lifted as possible, being the middleman between our team and the owners of the home. When we actually didn't have a very good first impression, that kind of spiraled things. But as such, I had to make amends and make sure that we went back right on track.
My struggles was actually like communicating to people I do not know also. Talking to them is a bit hard for me to tell them what to do without knowing if they are able to do it. I may not be able to actually help them all the way because I have to be talking to a lot of people at one time, because being a HOD is a bit challenging at times where you have to communicate with mostly everyone on set.
I was a bit stressed in terms of like focus pulling, whether or not will I be able to hit the mark, and is it like soft or was it on focus. I requested for rehearsal till I got like familiarized, and I also tried to like get more markings. Remember that day was like we have to like climb up the stairs. The whole house was like 3 floors, and we were all at the first floor. After that we had to set up for the second floor, and then somehow we also need like some of the guys to help us on the 3rd floor. So it's like we have to climb up and down, up and down, up and down. I think till the point that I think all of us was like damn tired. Like
another struggle that I had was holding the camera a lot, because throughout the whole film there's a lot of handheld work in it. It was kind of very tiring for me to hold on to the camera throughout the day, especially if they want me to hold a frame for them to see.
For my side is setting up and tearing down like Maud's room, because the original room is filled with a lot of things that belongs to the owner. She have a lot of pop marks. But I mean a lot is like every single corner of her room there's like pop marks everywhere. So when we take it down and wanting to put it back to the original place is like very, very, very challenging.
For production challenges would be having our very own space, because we were actually using up the dining table for makeup. For wardrobe wise, we only have the small little corner to steam our clothing.
I think a worry that I've always had was to properly mic up talents. I think a lot of the outfits were like crop tops, very tight crop tops, right? Especially for Wayne Wednesday, where they had to wear like sportswear. I should have done like more research on how to properly mic them up.
I thought one of the footage was gone. At first, I thought the footage was already fully transferred, so I went ahead to erase the cut. But then after I erased the cut, I realized that the software is still transferring over the file. Yeah, but luckily, right, Got a good man, and his name is Shahir. Yeah, and he managed to help me recover all the deleted, formatted footages, and yeah, still can
I think we worked our way around it. People were like doing roles interchangeably.
Actually, I'm quite thankful because like we got some external crew that came to help our set. So like they helped me like set up without me like draining my energy more lah.
To thank all my seniors such as like Ichan and my juniors as Ron and also my classmates like Lucas and all, and I also want to thank my intern, my supervisors like Chong Wai and also Eugene for helping me out with the lighting and the camera work. Yeah.
I want to thank my mom, my dad.
My first time doing SFX on somebody's face, yeah. And thankfully it kind of turned out quite okay. And I'm also quite thankful for the helpers that help us for art.
I think I'm most proud that we've managed to finish the shoot like on time, like within the whatever we scheduled, despite like the rain, the wet weather, and as well as like on the verge of getting kicked out of the house.
One of my favorite memories was definitely shooting the pool scene. It was really lighthearted compared to the rest of the scenes. It was like really nice to see all the actors like just having fun.
What was quite funny was that I think we used like hand sign toilet scene one. We try not to like disrupt the grandfather sleeping, right? So we try to like use hand sign to try to point to each other like yeah, that type of thing. Which is kind of funny lah.
I'm very grateful for my team for being able to listen and understand my ideas and letting me go through with some of them while also like making sure that I don't go too crazy, you know?
This is like my second FYP, and whatever I did in my previous FYP, I learned and I want to correct. And having to think of all of these problems in set or all that and like thinking of the solution, I think that's what filmmakers are. We are problem solvers.
I think overall, the team itself is strong lah, and everybody managed to work together. There's a few hiccups here and there, but I think overall we still did well.
I started out very inexperienced and not very confident in my abilities to handle myself on set. But I think after going through intern, going through this, and managing to apply what skills I had learned, I think that it was a very, very meaningful lesson and a very hard lesson. And it also taught me how to have fun, even in times of stress. I joked about making a Jeffrey cutout, and I made a Jeffrey cutout. So that's, yes.
The whole experience of the final year project is a total game changer to the way we think of things and the way we do things. Definitely during pre-production, it was hard to get used to my role at first because it's normally not the thing I would do. Communicating as a team and, as I said, a self-centered person was quite difficult. The way that I got over it was seeking help from those above me. My superiors told me that when it comes to managing, it's all about understanding all the different personalities in the team and finding a solution to work as a team with all these different personalities at the end of the day.
There wasn't any much drama happening in between, so thankfully it went well. Yeah.
I managed to make the mistakes that will help me to learn, so that next time if I ever were to work outside, I know my mistakes, so I will make it again.
Very different people together, right? You can tell like how every of us like improved lah, from like Pete's video and then IFP and then finally YP, right? You can really tell how everybody has grown.
It's like roller coaster, up and down now. Yeah. Now we are up, but I hope that it doesn't go down any soon. But actually down is fun also. I don't know. Yeah. As he's saying, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. So yeah, I live by that.
Modelot.